Hi everyone, I'm Angela Ross, Director of Voice at Child Fund, and I'm here in our international office with Ann Goddard, our President and CEO, and we're going to talk about innovation today. What does Child Fund mean when we say innovation?
We mean bringing more value, and that means both to our communities and families we serve and to our donors who support our work. We want to bring more value to the donor, that they feel like what we're doing brings more value to their life, that we make a change so that they feel it in their lives. And with the children and communities we serve, we don't want to just make a change for change's sake, but if we innovate, that our programs, et cetera, they see as bringing more value, more importance to their lives. So sometimes that can be seen as value for money, right? It can also, innovation should be more value for money. It can also be more value for time, right? That we can do something quicker, and therefore that would bring more value to people. But so it's not just change for change's sake, and that's really important for people to understand. It means it brings more value to those two very important constituencies that we serve.
Destination 2020 is our new strategic plan. And innovation is one of the three directions that we've chosen to go towards. Why is innovation important?
Yeah. We're an old organization. Soon we'll be celebrating our 80th anniversary, which I can't believe. I feel like we just did our 75th. And it means that we have a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, and a lot of good things. It also means that we are constantly going to be challenged by an environment that's changing, and that we just can't sit back and say what we've been doing for decades remains relevant. So we have to prove to ourselves and to our constituencies, both our families and children and our donors, that we are staying relevant to the changes in their lives, and that we are bringing new thinking, that we are bringing new ideas. And that's why we put innovation as one of the three things, because the world is changing rapidly, and when you're an old organization, you can sit back and be comfortable in who you are, right? Because it has served you well. It has gotten you to be 80 years old, right? But we know that just because we were around the last 80 years doesn't necessarily will be around the next another 80 years. I recognize that. And so to remain relevant, we have to really constantly challenge ourselves and bring new thinking to what we do. That's from new products, to new programs for children, to new processes, new things that are better, bring more value. Again, new not just for being new, but bring more value to our constituencies.
That's right. Can you think of any examples of innovation that are going on around Child Fund right now?
Good question. It's not something new. It's not like we've never been innovative.
That's right.
Actually, we innovated the idea of sponsorship. We can claim that we were the initial product innovator for the sponsorship product many years ago. And of course, we've been innovating all along. And I'm happy to have opportunity to share some of the things we're doing now. First of all, the whole program delivery model that's going on in the field is a lot of innovation, right? We're looking at how we can change our structures, make them more efficient, and still deliver on our commitments to our family and communities. Along with that, one that the field knows very well is the whole funding model, right? We've changed the whole way that money is flowing to national offices, and from there, flowing on to our local partners. That's been an innovation that's been working on for the last couple of years. On the fundraising side, we recently produced our virtual reality film. That is something that's still very much cutting edge, at least in the US, and I'm sure in other countries around the world, and we're still trying to see how we can maximize that. We stood up an innovation team about 18 months ago now to look at new products, sponsorship being a product. What other kind of products like that can we offer our supporters? We tested a good one called Learning Seed. Birthday Goat, one of my favorites. I love that name. But a new way to use Facebook as a way for micro giving, right?
That's right.
And none of them are going to be, big hits right out the door. That doesn't happen. Sponsorship grew really slowly too. But the important thing is we have a team of people working on it. We welcome input from other people. We just had, I think, our 4th or 5th innovation lab to generate new ideas, and we've had new people join each lab, right, to get new ideas in there. But those are some examples, and we want to keep all those examples going. But we're really embracing this in a big way because, as I said, I think we're constantly challenged to bring more value to our communities and to our supporters.
All of that makes so much sense. Say one of our team members somewhere within the Child Fund organization has an innovative idea. What should they do with that idea?
First, they should always talk to their supervisor, right? That's your first line of it. And in thinking of innovative idea, what I'm encouraging people to do is first think big and then go small. Figure out just with you and your supervisor, how can you test that small idea to see how much traction it might get, what you might learn, so you can iterate, test and learn, and then go big. That's what we want to think big, go small, learn, and then go big. So start first with your supervisor. There might be things you can test with your supervisor. And then when you learn a little bit more, then go up. You can email any member of the executive team. They were all open to that, open to input from staff from all over.
Okay. What would you like our colleagues to know about innovation? What words do you want to leave them with today?
First, I'll say what it's not. It's not the flavor of the month, right? It's not something that it's part of our strategy, big part of it for the next till 2020, and I'm sure beyond. The pace of things are changing more rapidly. People have said that for a long time. I really feel it the last 5 years, I would say, that it's really changing rapidly. So it's going to be around for a while, and we really want to embrace it as an organization. And I guess the closing thing would be also this idea of dreaming big. We don't want to make incremental changes. We want some big ideas out there, but then test small. Don't invest too much up front until you've learned about the idea, because a lot of innovations have grown actually from other ideas, right? And people tried and learned and failed, and then they took it off and made a little pivot and then made something better.
Yeah.
So always do that approach and not invest too much time and money into it at first, initially too, until you've learned. And that it can be applicable to every employee at every level of the organization and whatever office they sit in, because you can not only innovate products in the examples I gave, but you can also innovate programs, you can also innovate processes to make a process more efficient. So it's open to everybody. It's part of, and we hope it'll become part of the DNA of Child Fund. After Strategy 2020 and 2020 is reached, I don't envision that it'll probably be a strategic direction, because by then I hope it's part of our DNA.
It'll be baked into our culture.
Yes, right. So therefore we won't have to call it out. It'll be just who we are.
That's great. Anne, thank you so much for spending time with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Angela. I want to thank all the Child Fund staff around the world. Working together, we can make a big difference in the lives of the kids. I know we've done that before, and I know we'll continue to do that again. And I just thank you for the effort you make every day to make the world a better place for kids.